Honorable Speaker, most members have argued that the intention of the Equalization Fund was not to distribute these resources to sub-locations, but indeed this fund was supposed to actually be used to put in place infrastructure in most cases, the northeastern parts of the country. Actually, from my understanding, and because I was also alive when the constitution was being drafted, my opinion was that this fund was supposed to serve to uplift those areas in northeastern. But it has come to a situation where, Honorable Speaker, even in regions like Central Province, Nyanza, you find that there are areas that have been classified as marginalized. And this is some of the issues we are having with the members from certain areas who think that this formula should not obtain. Honorable Speaker, the total allocation of 10.25 billion, 307.52 million is reserved for secretariat recurrent expenses, being not more than 3% of the total allocation as provided under the PFM Act. The balance of 9.94 billion is allocated for development expenditure based on the deprivation index. Honorable Speaker, the development allocation of 9.94 billion is distributed based on the allocation factor assigned to each marginalized area under the second marginalization policy. The bulk of the funds are directed towards arid and semi-arid areas, with Turkana receiving the largest share of 1.13 billion, followed by West Pokot with 1.01 billion. Other counties receiving substantial allocations include Narok at 765.71 million, Mandera 747.59 million, Wajir 724.53 million, Samburu 644.67 million, Garissa 624.04 million, Baringo 590.43 million, Kilifi 535.73 million, and Marsabit 466.01 million. Honorable Speaker, this pattern indicates that the majority of marginal areas are situated within these 9 counties. Honorable Speaker, the committee has noted several concerns. First, the identification of 1,424 marginal areas has resulted in excessive fragmentation, with some counties receiving as low as 6 million, giving rise to numerous micro-projects that may not achieve the fund's constitutional objectives. Honorable Speaker, can you imagine a county has been allocated 5-point-something million, and that 5.9 million is supposed to help in bridging the marginalization gap? I think this is what we are saying, Honorable Speaker, that this really doesn't make sense. And if we really want to uplift these regions, then we must have another formula which is going to really, allocate proper resources for the changes, for the areas to be marginalization to be addressed. Honorable Speaker, secondly, the committee knows that CRA is currently developing the third marginalization policy. However, the first and second policies adopted entirely different methodologies for identifying marginalized areas and allocating resources, leading to frequent changes in beneficiary areas and fluctuating funding levels. This inconsistency has made it difficult to assess the fund's long-term impact and has created uncertainty in project planning and implementation. Honorable Speaker, the House, we must urge CRA to develop a consistent and predictable framework for the third policy, ensuring continuity and enabling meaningful evaluations of whether the fund is meeting its constitutional objective of improving the quality of life in marginal areas. Honorable Speaker, concerns persist regarding the potential duplication of projects under the Equalization Fund appropriations with those implemented by county governments in the 34 beneficiary counties. To maximize impact and ensure efficient utilization of resources, closer coordination between the Equalization Fund Advisory Board, implementing agencies, and county governments is essential so that projects complement rather than overlap. Honorable Speaker, this is a concern that some of the projects that we have captured here are also being implemented by the various counties where they are situated, and this is getting overlap. So we need to find a way in which this advisory board, fund board, will work closely with the counties to ensure that there is no overlap. Honorable Speaker, notwithstanding the challenges, the committee recommends that the bill is passed without amendments. This is because the total sum of 10.25 billion set out in the bill is consistent with the allocation made to Equalization Fund under the both Division of Revenue Act 2026 and the budget estimates for the year 2026-2027 approved by this House in June. Honorable Speaker, as I said, the bill is very short. If you have members, if you have a copy of the bill, you will see the allocations captured per county, with per constituency and per sub-locations. So, Honorable Speaker, with those many remarks, I would like to move and ask my able Vice Chairman, the Honorable Dr. Pukose, to second.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Chair. I beg to second the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2026. Honorable Speaker, as the Chair put it, this is almost like a procedural motion because in the Division of Revenue Act, we already passed this bill and it was debated. Honorable Speaker, when you see in the Division of Revenue, the amount that was allocated in the equalization was 10.25 billion. And this is to 34 constituencies, to 34 counties, 107 constituencies, and 1,424 sub-locations. In the second formula that we are now applying, it is giving money at the unit of operation at the sub-locational level. And this money is not deposited at the county. There is a special account at the central bank that this money is deposited, and then the sub-locations form committees. Then these committees identify the projects in roads, in electricity, in schools, and water, where they can be able to allocate that amount of money so that projects can be advertised at the county level, where you have all the offices being represented of the CEC Finance, Office of the County Commissioner, and then Office of the Funds Manager is also a member to that. And you'll find that with the second formula that was applied by CRA, they went and looked at several factors within this area in terms of electricity, in terms of roads, in terms of poverty, in terms of water, and this is how they came up with that second formula. I know that this might look, the amount of money might look small, but when you look at counties like West Pokot with many sub-locations, they are getting quite a huge amount of money. You look at TRT is getting almost 400 million. And when you compare this amount of money with even what we get in CDF, this is money enough that can make a really serious change within those areas. The only challenge is when you find counties trying to play some tricks by naming or doubling, or let's say once a project has been identified, the county wants to add even some money, which might not even go into implementation of that project. I think that's where our problem is. And the Honorable Speaker, our committee has, we've been able to get some of those complaints, especially from people who are implementing Equalization Fund, and we are in the plan to have a retreat with the CEO Equalization Fund together with the board and the National Treasurer, so that we can be able to raise these issues that are affecting members, so that this can be addressed and make sure that the Equalization Fund is operationalized and does what it was meant to. So far, Equalization Fund has received only, this is the third disbursement. The first was 2021, then another disbursement 2023, and then now this 2026. So with those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to second.
I now propose the question that the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2026 be now read a second time. Second. Yes, what's your point of order, Honorable Kore?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is a very important bill, and it has got a lot of interest for members from Northeastern and Northern Kenya in general. And we have not internalized, we have not discussed this at length. And Honorable Speaker, I would want to ask whether even we have the quorum to discuss this bill at this stage, this important motion.
So you raised the quorum question? Okay. Where is the check? Eh? Just check. Order, order. Check if you have quorum. We don't have quorum, eh? Ring the quorum bell. Where are the whips? Whips, go and look for your own members.
This is pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 35. And the members of the National Assembly were about to begin debate on the Equalization Fund Appropriation Bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly, Bill number 39 of 2026. This is a bill that is supposed to undergo through second reading, that is debate, and then also move on to the next stage, that is consideration of it at the Committee of the Whole House stage. However, at the point when the chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, Honorable Atandi, was about to move this particular bill, a member rose on a point of order indicating that the House lacks quorum during the proceeding, and that this particular business should be given much, or should be considered at a time when the House is well curated, for it to be able, or for members to be able to weigh in on their opinions regarding the contents of this particular bill. This is a bill, or basically a legislative instrument that authorizes the release and expenditure of constitutional allocations from the Equalization Fund. Remember, the Budget and Appropriations Committee recently adopted its report. It's a bill that had undergone through public participation, and the committee adopted its report, and this afternoon the bill was coming up for first reading, or for second reading, that is debate. This is a bill that authorizes the release of 10.25 billion Kenya shillings out of the Equalization Fund for this financial year, that is the 2026-2027, monies that have been ring-fenced and are to be released to counties or areas that have been categorized as marginalized. And strictly ring-fencing these monies is basically to be able to provide for basic services in identified marginalized areas, to be able to bring them to quality levels that are being enjoyed by the rest of the nation. And the funds are earmarked specifically for water supply infrastructure, also have been earmarked for road network improvement, health facilities and equipment, as well as rural electrification, water supply infrastructure, road network improvement, health facilities and equipment, as well as rural electrification. This is to ensure that these services reach the marginalized areas to the extent that is necessary to bring